Hello everybody and welcome to ZeldaSpeedRuns, broadcasting the very first match of the Link to the Past Randomizer Crosskeys Tournament 2021. This is Swiss Round 1. We have jkoper versus Nochibato. I should have asked how to pronounce that. Commentating for us, we have Alizun and B Libero, and tracking is Jinxie Girl and Wallkicks. Say hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. I am so excited for this. I have waited almost a year, and we are back at Crosskeys again. This is going to be a huge tournament this year. We have 168.
Eight.
Oh my goodness.
I had to add all the names so that I could generate the pairings to the first round. It's 168, trust me.
Woo! Yeah, this is going to be big. We have 8 full weeks of Swiss rounds happening. If we don't get anybody dropping out of the competition entirely, we can have upwards of 672 Swiss rounds.
Yep, big qualifiers are gone. In with the reign of Swiss, and honestly could not be more excited about it. I love Swiss as a tournament format. It's just like I always hate how sometimes in these tournaments you get people who go and they play like 2 games and they get blown out and they don't get anything out of it. And I love just the fact that we're going to be able to get like everybody, if they play through, are just going to get competitive matches at some point in this tournament, and I think that's awesome.
And we are getting started now. Small key to GT right off the bat.
Yep,
both starting in sync. Yep.
I'll say both runners starting in Sanctuary, not the way that it was intended by the Crosskeys gods, but I guess if you want to blaspheme, sure, go for it. Looks like jkoper's heading off probably to do a Houlihan from Sanctuary. Sort of lucky on this opening that you start where he did. Nochi is heading up instead to the Lumberjack area. And our first drop down is a useless Lumberjack drop down. Nothing but 10 arrows here, as we'll see the first tier 1 tree pull coming in for the vanilla 1 rupee. And we're going to see bomb or a bush crab here for more 1 rupees. So resources kind of suck this seed. Just going to make this Houlihan play from jkoper pretty nice.
And we have our thieves drop down. Let's see what is in here. A small key.
Please no. Not like this.
That is an agate tease, if I ever did see one. That is going to be a last location, I'm willing to bet.
You're sitting there hoping your breath, just praying that that swamp small shows up, because you don't want to have to kill Aga for a mystery small key. Meanwhile, Nochi fighting Blindside up there, as jkoper is heading to the castle, so we're going to see what this drop down is. Looks like he's just blinding it, which is a little interesting given that we haven't seen Ganon yet. Oh, we see Ganon now.
There he is. And we have a red boomerang. No bombs, so we can't check the back of it.
Ganon being in the uncle, leading to my possible favorite logical quirk in all of Crosskeys, where the front of Hyrule Castle can actually be not a Sphere Zero entrance. Since if you find a way to kill Aghanim, you could get locked out from being able to get there, and logically could be required to hit Ganon all the way to Phase 3 so you can jump down and get past. A thing that nobody has ever seen because of how ridiculously rare it is. But either way, jkoper now kind of retracing Nochi's steps. And jkoper's going to have the advantage here of having bombs, so Nochi's going to be leaving, unless this is bombs, he's going to be leaving, oh, there's a sword at least. He'll be leaving 1 item in Blindside, and he'll leave 1 item in the well here, which jkoper is going to be able to pick up on this route. And meanwhile, Nochi is just going to head straight to the village of Kakariko here. Not really anything logically interesting yet. A pod key isn't bad, but And a sword is obviously nice just for navigation and being able to knock things away from you and kill things a little bit easier.
Now we get to take a peek at what's in the back of Blind's hut today. So he picks up his red boomerang and a compass and a couple of rupees.
Building dramatic tension here.
Yes.
Dun-dun. Dun-dun. Just art piece. Nochi is okay with that. Although we'll probably be going back pretty quickly. Nochi, meanwhile, has found the dam, which is a really nice find, since it means you don't have to deal with walking back to the dam to check what the item is later. jkoper smites the bird with a sword. I'm assuming he's done enough to set up for a tier 2 tree pull here, which is, I suspect, what we're going to see from him. He does have the advantage that he already knows where Ganon is from having dropped in, so he actually does have the ability to just blind some of these drop downs if he's so inclined, but looks like he is not inclined. But is probably going to take advantage of the well being here. Or, oh, he's killing the crow for tier 2, I assume. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Just
tier 2, not exactly super useful in arrows.
But now we get to see the well here from jkoper, while Nochibato is strolling on through Spiral Cave. Just a piece of heart for him.
Yep, and we'll see where Spiral Cave lets out here. And it's going to be the pod entrance, which doesn't like suck, but it's not good. It's not really a particularly useful connector. Like, this is going to be a really, really slow walkout for Nochi.
Yeah.
But on the plus side, he never has to go through this way, and so that does make routing a little bit cleaner in this area. But it does look like he's going to take the bunny walk, so I'm assuming he's going to be trying to make the play to pyramid here, unless, of course, one of these 3 entrances he can get here is going to be really useful. Ooh.
That was close. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yep. See how much Nochi's done the Murder Bird Tango?
Yes.
he seems all right here. And finds a bumper cave that he's not getting through.
Nope. That ain't gonna be. That ain't happening.
Nochi hugging the wall down south here to make sure that Murder Bird doesn't aggro again, which would be really annoying with his heart count and lack of any items to use. But does find a item shop, so he gets to buy some bombs here.
That is helpful. That is certainly helpful when he gets the opportunity to use those bombs.
Yeah, unfortunately, can't quite figure out how to use them yet. May need to find the user's manual, or the Moon Pearl, or the Light World, one of those.
Yeah. Bottle vendor just tossing out some coin.
Yeah, CAC in general looking pretty boring so far, although we didn't see all of it from Nochi. As there's another connector coming in here. jkoper looks like he's going to go through. Let's see if he gets stuck on the other side here. Nope, is going to be able to retraverse it, but that is theoretical access to East Death Mountain once you have a mirror. And the pyramid play is not, as they say, it.
No, just some bombs. That's it. And he just spent the money on those bombs, and he gets more bombs. Now it's just rubbing it in that he spent money on bombs, and is now just handing him free bombs.
Meanwhile, jkoper finds the prize connector there in the top of Paradox Cave.
Ooh.
And is probably going to be grabbing his 7 items real quick.
Oh, for sure.
We'll also see he only has 1 bomb. So I would kind of expect him to bomb the wall of the shop here and fill up as well. One of the less commonly used shops that you'll see is this one in Paradox Cave. Meanwhile, Nochi heading straight down to the dam, gonna see what his deflooding has earned him. And
Just some arrows.
roughly half of a tier 2 tree pull, as it turns out. Nochi, meanwhile, finding Ice Palace in Swamp.
Alright, now let's check out this part of Paradox. We got a big key to Turtle Rock.
Alright, that's not a bad one. Meanwhile, Nochi's finding the bottom of Desert Palace here, in the Fairy Cave in South Lightworld.
jkoper got a small key to Tower of Hera and a small key to Pod.
Yeah, not sure how you usually feel about that Tower of Hera key, but at least if you have a fire source, you don't have to orphan it as much as you might like to. Did Nochi choose not to check the torch item there? What it looked like to me. Alright, so just 50 rupees in the one chest in Desert and nothing else. And Nochi gets spit out at Swamp Palace on the left side, so he is actually not going to kill himself here. Which is actually perfectly fine, because it is not only possible, but logically possible to traverse Desert Left to Desert Right as a bunny. One of the dumber sequences that the game can actually require you to do. And yeah, I agree with A. Multiple pod smalls always starts getting the brain turning a little bit. It's really that third one where it starts really going in my head that this might be a early pod play that we're having to make here.
Yeah, this has been a pretty item light start. Not too dense right now for progression.
Yeah. He finds Hyrule Castle right on Death Mountain. Death Mountain obviously just like a really good one to find, as jkoper checked the torch there and saw that it was nothing. Since it can give you that third save point, which can be really, really nice depending on where it is, or completely useless, as we find Spec Rock on has the Quake medallion today. Pretty unlikely that that's required, but certainly possible.
Yeah, it depends what's hiding behind those locations.
jkoper choosing not to go back into Swamp, instead deciding he's up for a little bit of a bunny walk. Back into Desert at Swamp, of course.
Yes. Oh, chicken hut.
Not a lot you can do there as a little bunny. And Nochi is now going to save the old man, so is going to get rewarded by that third save and quit point here.
We have found Thieves Town. And
jkoper
taking
thinks
that
life
death.
is no longer worth living and kills himself, or maybe just wants to come back as normal Link. One of the two. But yeah, I mean, I just sort of to get back as things are sort of starting to calm down a little bit. I'm super hyped for this tournament, just because this tournament came out, I want to say, announced itself 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, as that is an out of logic pod key, and debuted with a player cap of 128 people. And within 12 hours, they had hit the player cap. And so we had to raise the player cap to 196 to not just, like, let people in as, ooh, that's an unfortunate death for Nochi.
Yeah.
Taken right before there, although he does at least know a couple of connectors that go to Desert, and we'll see where the save and quit point goes. Maybe he'll get built out.
And I'm not sure if you noticed it, but inside Thieves Town was that third pod small.
Fourth pod small, actually.
Oh, fourth.
The fourth one came from that was one from the old man, right? That had a pod small as well?
Oh.
So yeah, we've now seen 2 different pod smalls, one locked behind the lamp, one locked behind the moon pearl. Nochi now checking the back of Old Man to see where this goes. Alright, and it gets spit out on the eastern area, so he'll take the opportunity to do that here. I will note that Old Man spot is on Bumper Cave, which is a tremendously useful spot to start at. But not particularly useful right now with no Moon Pearl.
No,
And
certainly not.
the long-fated Palace of Darkness has shown itself. Well, as long-fated as anything can be 14 minutes into a match. No bottles here, so not going to be able to PCU right side. Can Mimic Clip if the runners are proficient in it. I'm not actually sure on either of these two if it's in their toolbox. But I think the more interesting thing to watch is going to be what's going to come out in sort of the back chests of pod. Because we'll get these chests up front here, but we'll likely see the runners take their second key and go to the back and check out the compass chest in Dark Basement.
We're seeing
Jacob?
jkoper now into Aga Tower. With the knowledge of what's behind Aga. It's good to take the opportunity and dip in here.
Nochi looking like he's saying no thank you to the Mimic Clip. Meanwhile, jkoper finds the mushroom there in the first chest in Aga Tower. Alright, that's nice to find. Especially when you haven't found them. I would say, especially when you haven't found the potion shop yet, you can just make an excuse to go turn it in. And that way, as soon as you find the potion shop, you can just get the item right away instead of having to go back to it. But we'll see as jkoper is now kind of coming back through the front. There's the front of, or the back of Desert Palace.
Yes. Good
Which
to
we
know.
are 2 items away from it meaning anything, and 3 items away from it being in logic. A little bit of darkness on both sides. There's nothing in the first chest in Dark Basement. And nothing in the second chest in Dark Basement. But Nochi's popping back up, so I would guess we're about to see him go for the hammer jump here.
Lining up that jump. Nicely done.
Oh, so yeah, this match got scheduled about 3.5 hours ago, so it was a pretty lightning fast effort to get everything going. jkoper, meanwhile, is taking the bomb jump into Turtle Rock and is going to go out and see what he gets, and I guess have a little bit of a fighter sword fight with the Pokey here. As we find the Fire Rod lamp locked in the back of Palace of Darkness behind 6 small keys. That is a lot, but a really nice find. As Nochi once again chooses death.
Taking out that pokey. Ooh.
And I definitely agree with Wallkicks that this is not a play I would be looking at making, but he makes it through okay.
And a small key to Skull Woods.
Alright, so Mothula is not only going to be locked by 3 Skull Wood Smalls today, he's also going to be locked by 4 Turtle Rock Smalls today. Not exactly looking that like we're going to see anything from Mothula anytime soon. We may see the sequence break of it, but putting it in logic is a long way away here. And the one item that's basically always in Logic and Turtle Rock is, of course, a compass and useless. Looks like jkoper is not super comfortable with the bomb jump. Okay, he's going for it. Never mind. Or he's going to walk through the connector. No, this looks like the bomb jump where you ride the rail across. So he's trying to bomb jump here.
Right over to the chest.
Yep, and he does it, gets the first item, and walks back to the second item as well, thus proving that he is smarter than me in any race I ever play. Or anytime I have the Turtle Rock Big Key, I grab that chest and go, la la la, time to leave. And yeah, Wallkicks makes a good point that the Fire Rod is also locked by 6 Pod Smalls. So right now there are 13 small keys that logically lock Mothula.
Oh no.
And meanwhile, jkoper finding the out of logic crystal roller room, Misery Mire Big Key, would go instantly in logic as soon as he found the left side of Turtle Rock, but I don't think we've seen that yet. The question isn't Allison makes mistakes, Chad Burt. The question is Allison doesn't make mistakes sometimes. Trust me, I could point at a giant best of list of my big dumbs. In fact, I know there are people who watch me in here who could probably name like 7 of them right now. So yes, I do in fact make mistakes sometimes.
Alright, now we're seeing Nochibato going back to check out some of those bombable locations.
Yep. Meanwhile, jkoper is now going on his own Pod Bunny walk. We'll see if he heads out to the pyramid all the way or is going to take a slightly shorter route. I would suspect that we're going to see the full route all the way to the pyramid here. Lots of bunnying here.
Nochi bombed that Quarreling Brothers connector, but is finishing up CAC before going to explore that later on.
And there is that Misery Mire that we know of, which is very useful, but we do have the big key, but no way to get in right now. Very, very nice, efficient play if you can make it work, though. Yeah, so while we kind of have a lull while the two runners are retracing each other's footsteps, just to sort of introduce the tournament and the mode for people. So this is the third running of the Crosskeys tournament. It will take place over the course of 8 weeks for the preliminary round. Each round will last 1 week, and there will be 8 opponents for Swiss rounds for people. If you're not familiar with Swiss, it's a tournament format where you're basically going to be guaranteed, as Nochi is going in to steal the Desert Key, you are guaranteed to play someone of either at your record or very close to your record. If there's an even number, it's always at your record. And yeah, after that, the top 16 runners will advance to the bracket play and play a best of 1 bracket to see who the champion will be. As we congratulate Nochi on the new subscriber. And so last year's tournament was won in a 4-game set, where Lin, coming from the loser's bracket, was able to knock off Andy, who had won the winner's bracket and started with a 1-0 advantage. And this is time number 3 that we're seeing this tournament happen. And I am super stoked for this, because this is a really fun mode with a lot of complexities and things that you don't normally see. if you're just sort of used to kind of open and standard mode. The other thing I'm low-key really hyped for is I think it's guaranteed that everybody who's 7-1 is going to be in the top 16, and you will have some number of people in the top 16 who are 6-2, but it's not guaranteed, and so there will be a basically mega tiebreak race where everybody who's tied at 6-2 will get to race off against each other, and the top X will get to make brackets. Oh, they're best of 3. Excuse me. I thought they were best of 1, but you're absolutely right. You know, you would think as a tournament organizer that I would have this stuff in my head, but if you've ever listened to me talk for long enough, you would know that that's a really dumb assumption. But yeah, so super happy for this tournament, super psyched. Really glad to get the crew back together. Blib looking to see if she can take the #1 commentator spot again this year. I don't actually know if you had it last year, but you were very close, I know. Especially if you were like comms and trackers.
I was up towards the top for comm and tracking, but I didn't get the top spot for either, so I'm kind of hoping to nudge my way up there. I already have my name down for several matches over the next couple of days.
Yeah, Blib warned me that she's been waiting for this for about a year and drank an entire energy drink to get ready, so it's going to be an experience over the next couple hours.
Oh yes, my entire body is vibrating right now.
Interestingly, my entire cell phone is also vibrating right now because I'm getting a call, but we will put that off for right now.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we are seeing into the escape sequence here. Take a peek around and see what items we can pull out of here on jkoper's side. Well, Nochibato is traversing through desert and not losing too much health along the way.
No, definitely not. But is going in to try to make up for his death that happened on Death Mountain. I know firsthand it is a real frustrating place to die. So jkoper is working through Hyrule Castle right now. Also, note, by the way, that this puts the Turtle Rock key in logic, since that is the left side of Turtle Rock. Or puts the Misery Mire big key in logic, sorry. jkoper, meanwhile, is going through Hyrule Castle, and this is actually not in logic right now, as it requires the Hyrule Castle small key to be logically reachable here, since you could technically steal a key and walk all the way to the back with it. But it looks like nothing of particular note coming out of here.
And we're taking that death, so we can just continue and exit out.
And now both runners have this Mire big key. So that is a lovely 7 items that the runners have access to as soon as they have access to Misery Mire at all. Oh, so yeah, that's actually interesting. They're not showing up on the display. Ricky, do you want to check it out to see if there's something on your end? Because on the commentator dashboard, I also see them marked from the trackers.
Yeah, I am seeing the yeah, I am seeing it here on our end. But
Yep. Just proving that once and for all, if you actually want to know what's going on in these matches and be able to see all the items, you too should volunteer to sign up and commentate these matches so we can put on more of them. This is in fact a premium feature that is not available on our free-to-play version of these stream.
yeah, that's how actually I started volunteering last year. I think it was around winter bracket 2 or 3 that was watching this tournament from relatively early on, and somebody had mentioned that the next match that was scheduled might not get a restream because they didn't have enough volunteers. And so I asked how to volunteer. I'd never done any of this before, and started with tracking, and now they can't get rid of me. They don't pay me, and they can't get rid of me.
And you are worth every penny, Blibril, if I may say so myself. But yeah, so if you're interested in helping out and contributing on these, the tournament Discord server is right there in chat. Weird enough, Blibril, I'm pretty sure, I don't remember 100%, but I'm pretty sure I saw you talking in someone else's Twitch chat before that very, very first match that you were in about like, oh yeah, I'm like doing my first volunteering for this tournament, I'm really excited. Feels like ancient history right now, doesn't it?
Yes, I think that might have actually been in Andy's chat.
That does seem like a reasonable spot that might have happened, as that is a somewhat usual hangout for a lot of people.
And now we're seeing a repeat over on Nochibato's side of going into Hyrule Castle, while jkoper is just hopping around.
Yep, it's bunny time. Ooh, as we see the floating island exit from Hyrule Castle. That is a really nice place to find. Nochi, meanwhile, getting some nice usage out of this fire rod, just being able to take things out a little bit faster than he would have been able to with the sword. Lots of frustrating entrances found so far as bunnies. Lots of like one-off caves that you can't get right now. We've seen Chicken Hut, we've seen Treasure Chest Game already. Still looking for what looks like the next bit of progression for our runners. I don't think we've seen the Ice Rod Cave area. I'm not sure we have a lot else left right now. There might be some connectors that have not been followed, but is this mushroom in logic? I'm trying to remember where that came from.
Where did the mushroom come from? The mushroom came from
Yep, okay, yeah, it was in Agatower, yeah, then so the mushroom's sitting there in logic. We'll see what is here. Feels weird to me to not know what's in this entrance, since it is the very first entrance I check in every single Crosskeys seed. That being a somewhat popular opening. Meanwhile, Nochi is heading towards Dark Cross here, and with the fire rod is able to light the torch, and is now choosing to end his life once again. If I were more prepared, this is where I would have some sort of hotline number to give out to people. We still have not found the potion shop. It is, however, notable that even if the potion shop's in the Dark World, as long as you can logically reach it, that is logical to find. Ooh.
We have some mitts, and we have the big key to Thieves Town. That is nice.
That is a big important entrance to find, and Nochi didn't go through there because he got spit out at the back of Old Man, which is coming in this next entrance that jkoper's going to check here. Although it looks like he may be trying to farm up to 500 rupees here for Zora as well. Which would make sense given that he just found the glove to put in logic. To answer the question in chat from JD, the reason why that's the popular first check-in entrance is specifically because a lot of runners will be willing to give up a little bit of time in their seed as jkoper is probing the back of Old Man in order to guarantee that they have resources in the early game so as to not orphan spots that may like require a bomb or things like that. And so you will often see people start at Link's house, fake flipper at the lake just south of Link's house, which has a whirlpool which takes you up right next to the witch's house. and then you can fake flipper across and jump in the Houlihan cave to get 225 rupees and make it significantly more likely that you're going to pick up things. It also has some fringe benefits, as we see the other side of Bumper Cave now, which I guess we had already seen. Maybe actually that was the one we'd already seen before. It also has some fringe benefits as well if you're really sort of conscious about things, that you can usually use it to set up a tier 1 and tier 2 tree pool to really guarantee rupees, and you can also get glimpses that I want to say 6 prize packs on the way. I know Lynn's in chat and is about to correct me and say actually it's 7 or 4, however many it actually is, but that's more or less why it's a popular opening. But not done by either of our runners here tonight.
Nope. And as mentioned in the chat, the trackers are having issues showing on the audience's end, the big keys. So if anybody is curious about what big keys are there, just ask, and somebody will answer.
As Nochi now gets his confirmation that Ganon is here. I believe Nochi was down to this drop down and vanilla for the Ganon location. That is true. Unfortunately, the ability to show big keys only unlocks at 100 more subs for ZSR. That's a little bit of a bummer. And notable, by the way, that this connector here that Nochi found was lost by jkoper because he blind dropped into Ganon and had to die. But Nochi does find his own way to Dark Death Mountain here. As we thank Average Frustrated Gamer for the host of 5 viewers on Nochibato's stream.
And we are, on our end of things, seeing Nochi wave to the audience.
Well, we might have a little bit of a reminder about turning off your stream alerts after this, but...
It's the first match. This is when it should all happen. I want no clean audio. I want all stream alerts. And here is another raid.
Let's see how many people we can get to raid Nochi in the middle of this. jkoper, I think, going in with a few more keys than Nochi had. So he is able to find... I want to say he should be at 4 keys right now. Yeah. So he's actually going to be able to get all of the items except the big chest and Helmasaur if he would like to at this point. But yeah, that Thieves Town Small that's locked by 6 pod keys is a little bit spooky. Nochi, meanwhile, is taking his out-of-logic Fire Rod and diving a...
Very out-of-logic Ice Palace.
Not super happy Ice Palace.
Yes, this first match of the tournament is a great reminder for our audience who may be familiar and some who may not be, that when it comes to Crosskeys, logic is very much a suggestion than a requirement when it comes to completing this game however you see fit.
As we have past Crosskeys tournament winner Lin Ya in chat, noting that he is not familiar with Crosskeys.
Not at all. Well, welcome to Crosskeys, Lin. If you would like to know what Crosskeys is, it is a combination of a Link to the Past randomizer. Oh, and here we go. ZSR Bot is answering that question for me. Read and learn, Lin. Maybe you too can compete in this tournament.
Yeah, I think really the right way to approach logic in Crosskeys is to use it more as a guide to understand what is likely to happen rather than to stick inside of logic quickly. or strictly. And so I think you'll find that people will sort of look and say, oh, I have a lot of pod keys. It seems likely there's something in pod, as we find the booby prize of big keys in Swamp Palace. As jkoper decides to scum that away, which is an interesting decision. I guess I understand it, but it's a little bit spooky if he ends up... I mean, we found Swamp already, and we found the dam already. So all we need is that small key and the flippers to be able to get... Oh, I guess we need the hammer too to get to it. I don't think there's anything wrong with scumming it away. It's just a little bit spooky. But I think that's really just the right way to approach logic in this, is to use it as a way to understand where things are likely to be and use it as a lighthouse, so to speak.
Yes, where could you be right now? And where are you actually? And we have a moon pearl.
Yep, it was just the glove. Which has to feel a little bit bad for jkoper, but he should be feeling a little bit better than Nochi right now, who is in here diving ice. But I do agree with AA that the pod keys are likely to be pretty effusive in this seed, with the fire rod locked behind 6 pod keys.
Yes.
And unless Bombos is out there, also a Ganon's Tower small key behind 6 pod keys. As well as, I want to say, a Skullwoods key and a Turtle Rock key. Yeah, I think this ice play is a bit too aggressive for my tastes, especially with the fire rod out of logic. But Nochi is not exactly drowning in good options right now. Just unfortunate that one of the options that he does have that maybe is a little bit more conventional is in a better spot.
Yes.
I believe the glove that we're talking is just exactly what Rich is saying, that fortune teller west of Hylia.
Yep, it's very easily accessible right next to start.
jkoper, meanwhile, is taking his fire rod and heading straight to Skullwoods. Makes a good degree of sense here. He doesn't have the big key yet, but he can get the other 5 items in the front. 6 if you want to count the guaranteed small key as an item in Skullwoods. I usually choose not to. Or 4 and 5, not 6. I'm good at math, I promise.
Oh yes. Ice physics. Come on, you got it.
Just a suggestion for all you aspiring video game developers out there. When you're looking at a game that you're thinking about making and saying, ooh, I think I'm going to add an ice level, maybe pause for a second, think about it, and then don't.
Do it. Do it. For the viewers. Do it for the
Nobody
audience.
likes ice movement.
I love it. I love it. It's
ice
just...
skaters don't like ice movement.
It doesn't matter how good of a player you are, you still look silly on ice physics.
My girlfriend has now entered the room to tell me that she does in fact like ice skating. Thank you, Kiri!
See? She gets it.
And yeah, I mean, so especially with that Moon Pearl now, that starting point from Old Man is really nice. Indy's never been on Ice Toffle. I don't know what he would do with it. He kind of freaked out the first time he was in the ocean. Indy being my dog, for those of you who are not aware, who is in fact a very, very good boy. And jkoper now continuing to probe around the Dark World, as Nochi's going to be kind of hung up until he finds that glove. And unfortunately, this is not where it is.
He is on the wrong side. And finding that glove after he makes a trek all the way up here is going to make him feel just super. And there he is finding Eastern. And that useless entrance there.
And you know, speaking of Eastern Palace, there's the big key on jkoper's side. As I accidentally switched to the wrong window, and so I am 30 seconds behind on my broadcast. I apologize.
Oh
And
no.
Nochi decides he's going to go into Eastern. Pretty understandable play with what Nochi has left. Unfortunately, probably not the one he's going to be looking for, especially since we know that the big key is Moon Pearl locked. But yeah, I think you get a variety of opinions on whether you should dip Eastern or not when you find it, which makes sense because there are some people who are aggressive and understand that maybe dipping Eastern isn't the best play mathematically, and then there are other people who like being wrong.
It all depends on your level of desperation. We got a book out of Eastern, though.
Yep. Which is almost unfortunate because I almost expect that Nochi will then follow that book and head straight to Desert to check that entrance.
No. And Desert and Tower of Hera are our two red crystals today.
Yep, that is somewhat high requirements logically for those dungeons to be beat, but in terms of what you actually need to beat those dungeons, it's pretty pathetic. You need a big key to Desert and either a big key to the Tower of Hera or a different big key to the Tower of Hera that is also called a hookshot. And you can beat those dungeons. Nochi, meanwhile, going for the last check he's going to be able to get in Eastern as jkoper continues to kind of clean up the light world. And I suspect that the lead that it feels like jkoper has is going to kind of intensify until Nochi does find that glove and end up going to get his Moon Pearl from the back of Escape. But we'll see, maybe he'll find something tremendously useful here, like a mirror or boots. Yeah, I tried to cast a curse into existence. Sorry, Nochi. No luck for you here.
That was an awful lot of digs for a map of swamp.
Yeah, I don't blame whoever was there for burying that map. I wouldn't want to know where Swamp Palace is either. And Nochi continuing. Oh, so he's now going to check out the shovel that he got in Ice Palace, which I think makes sense. If you do that dive, you want to find it.
Yes, getting the knowledge of if swamp is a crystal will make them really concerned about that lumberjack small key.
Speaking of the big key to Tower of Hera, jkoper now has the ability to full clear Tower of Hera when he finds the dungeon. But yeah, really, other than this Moon Pearl, not a lot of major items separating the two of them. But the Moon, I mean, there's a couple big keys on jkoper's side that aren't really in particularly bad spots. But until he does pick up this Moon Pearl, Nochi's going to be bleeding some time here. Yeah, and as Amazing Ambrose points out, here is a very attractive looking spot right now, with it being not only fully completable, but also a 5/6 crystal. The fire source still isn't in Law 2, but that's not usually something you're overly fussed about when you're doing Hera. But jkoper instead is choosing to make his play to the back of Thieves Town, and notably, unless the hammer is back here, is going to be orphaning the big chest. Which, if Nochi is patient about his play into Thieves Town, could actually give him an opening back into the race. And I mentioned at the time as kind of like a positive for Nochi. And jkoper's not even taking the chance that the hammer's back there. He's just leaving the key. Which is a little bit of a decision. Not a bad decision, but a good decision. But yeah, this is a blind that is locked by many, many keys.
I want to apologize for any background noise. My cat has gotten the noisy zoomies because it is almost 2:30 in the morning here, and it is time to scream and run across the house.
That does seem appropriate for 2:30 in the morning. That's exactly what my downstairs neighbor thinks.
It is indeed a cat jam.
And it looks like Nochi's making the play to the glove nap. So we'll see if he goes straight for back of escape, or if he's going to sort of try to chase down the other glove entrances. I'm going to actually answer this one for you, Cyber. She's in the Newfoundland time zone. We had a discussion about this earlier today when she mentioned what time it was for her.
Yes, when I cannot trust myself to sign up for any role when it comes to matches while I'm sleepy, because trying to do ET plus 1.5 is odd.
And here is the glove for Nochi, as well as
Finally.
that Thieves' key.
There we go.
But is not. Looks like he's probably turning in his mush. No, maybe he's going to desert area. Yeah, it looks like he's going for this isolated rock out by desert, which unfortunately is not the answer. Meanwhile, jkoper finds the best item in all of Crosskeys in the back of Thieves Town. And notably, he found it in Blind Cell, which is in logic with only the big key of Thieves Town.
Oh, that's amazing. So, this has opened up quite a bit of this seed for jkoper. He's laughing. He's sitting pretty there now.
Yeah, that's a pretty good feeling to find. Alright, and Nochi finds Super Bunny Cave here with his glove. So, not the path to the Moon Pearl, but could be something interesting here.
We're getting a compass to Meyer and some bombs.
Yes, like I said, something interesting in here.
Yes, exactly.
Or, you know, nothing. One of the two.
Bombs are a thing. It just might be overflowing all of the bombs he already has.
And Nochi now choosing to do a little bit of a bunny walk from the Super Bunny exit. Understandable here. Getting spit out there. We'll see how much he commits to that. Hopefully for a sec, not too well, since we know where the Moon Pearl is sitting. And still waiting for our first crystal from anybody right now.
All we have is a green pendant, which, who knows, might be useful.
Oof, that's a little unfortunate. I mean, I guess no, we already knew that was there, but that's unfortunate for Nochi to find. Like, all these spots that are just single item caves that you know you can't do bunny are just, like, pain, because you know you're going back there. And these are
Yep.
pretty slow places to go. jkoper is showing off an easy bit of cool little tech, which is the fact that you cannot go into portals while you are holding an item, and so you will often see runners drop bombs and pick them up, or pick up a Kana Samaria block and carry them through the portal. Meanwhile, Lin is trolling in chat, trying to get himself banned for using the stupidest meme in the world. Right, Lin, I'm calling you out. And all Nochi should be wanting to do at this point is saving and quitting.
Myra Medallion is Quake.
And unfortunately, rather than saving and quitting, Nochi's continuing to probe around the Dark World here. Finds the bomb shop, which we already know is going to tell us that Desert and Tower of Hera are the red crystals. Speaking of the Quake that opens up Misery Mire, good pickup from jkoper there to make sure he grabs that before he heads back to the Mire area. And if I recall correctly, it was No, it was Desert that spits out in the Mire area, right? Which means he's going to be able to go from Desert. But yeah, that Ether Tablet is pretty orphaned right now. So there are a couple spots that Nochi has that could, like, really help propel him back into this. But unfortunately is pulling up a pretty big deficit here. Dead last locationing this Moon Pearl.
Yeah, until he gets that Moon Pearl, he's pretty well stuck on where to go next. He's taken the death here in Thieves.
So he has his big key right now. We might actually see him make the play to the back and pick up his mirror early. Hopefully he doesn't follow this too hard if he chooses to do that, because it is out of logic behind his Moon Pearl. Should be able, like, at this point he should be able to have a pretty good guess that his Moon Pearl needs to be in the back of Escape, or at least locked by the back of Escape. That being said, the mirror is always a very convenient routing tool then. So you're not going to be upset if you're him to go back there and get it. I mean, they're allowed, but they are not ever required.
Alright, Hyrule Castle into Mire area. So now we're seeing jkoper utilize this mirror, check out the front entrance to Desert. No, nothing interesting for him.
Okay, I definitely thought Mire was Quake, but that's because I listened to Wallkicks tell me that Mire was Quake.
Oops.
So really, when you think about it, it's all Wallkick's fault.
Yes.
Ooh! And there is the small key to Swamp on Sahasrara.
Ooh. Okay. Well, that's less of a concern now for the Aga play, depending on what small keys will be needed to complete this seed.
And notably,
Aga might not be required.
as soon as that Thieves' Town small is in logic, which, as we've established, is behind several small keys, Blind and therefore that Swamp small are also in logic. But these 6 pod keys are doing a lot of logical heavy lifting here. As we find Tower of Hera here for jkoper. We will likely see a full clear out of this.
Hmm?
And our first crystal of the match.
And we have our bombos.
She manages to sneak past these death crickets. I agree with UA. By the way, I'm a little surprised he's not doing basement. Especially since he has a mirror, so it's not like he's going to try to save and quit out of there or anything. It's not a huge deal, but it is like a difference of 2 transitions, which is a few seconds.
Ooh.
As jkoper takes the fall of shame.
Well, now's a good time to go basement.
Nope.
Nope. Oh, just mirroring. Just a mirror.
He decided to do some big soul searching there by looking into the mirror and found out that it took him to the start of the entrance. It's pretty unlucky when you think about it. And yeah, I mean, on one hand, there are definitely people who are going to say, you know what, I really don't want to do Hera Basement as Happy 1 Hour with 0 crystals.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with the spot that Hera's in, it's really, really expensive to come back to, and so it's going to be hard to just, like, you're going to be taking a skip as a welcome to Medallion. Jesus. As there is the minor medallion.
Take me down to Medallion City.
Where the floor is blue and the boss ain't pretty. Are we playing Randomizer? I thought Moldorm was the boss of Tower of Heratam.
The boss ain't Viddy?
The boss ain't Viddy. Nice.
We're making it work. You know, it's a group project.
And I gotta be honest, I don't think I've ever actually seen people use... Did the Burna damage Moldorm, or did he slash? I thought Burnham didn't damage Moldorm. Weird. I didn't think Kane worked there. Okay, he did actually slash. Alright, cool. That makes a lot more sense.
Okay. It looked cool.
And jkoper does decide not to do the basement chest.
Okay, well, we'll see how that play pans out for him in the long run here. Because from the looks of it, we're probably in for a nice long run, which I think is the only appropriate way to start this tournament. More cross keys, longer matches.
But yeah, all these spots, I mean, Thief's Town Big Chest is no longer really an out for Nochi, but I mean, this does give... Ooh, and that Ether Medallion looks like it's going to be kind of... We'll see if there's anything here. Nochi is now opting to use the save scum that he set up.
Ice
yeah,
rock.
Looks like the Ether's probably going to be required.
Okay, this is getting spicy now.
Right. And Nochi looks like he's going to keep these items in desert.
Okay. Yeah, we've almost filled out that full set of pod smalls.
Now, this mirror is still behind Moon Pearl, so Nochi should know that it can't lead here, but this is a pretty hefty set of entrances to go through. I believe jkoper is now also heading over here.
Well, with that mirror in hand, it's going to make clearing this this part of the mountain much more pleasant.
Rich jkoper did not skip checkerboard because you got spit out of it earlier as an exit. Meanwhile, he is going through Spectacle Rock. We'll see if he's going to opt to do the bomb jump here, or if he's just going to drop down, or even just check the item. Nope, just checking the item.
Yep. Not worth the walk. We're going back.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's kind of annoying to get back up here. You want to check some of these drop downs. Luckily for Nochi, not really anything particularly important there, since he did have to leave without lifting that rock, as he lacks the strength of conviction and or the moon pearls to lift that rock. Sanctuary is the play he needs, and it looks like he's finally going to be grabbing the pearl. And just as a PSA for everybody playing this game, you can mirror out of Sanctuary and get sent to the door. Please do not walk out. You will feel very sad. Unless you don't have a mirror, in which case you will feel sad for different reasons.
There we go. Oh, yeah. That was a face. That was a face by Nochi right there.
Nochi not giving rage slashes, which is good because I always get mega tilted by people trying to rage slash after when they're in a tournament match. But that eye roll was worth at least 5 rage slashes. But yeah, has to feel pretty bad about that after that Moon Pearl showed up. Thankfully, he does have out still in this seed, but is going to have to cut a pretty nice route from this point on.
Grabbing that portal back now.
Using the mirror iframes to lift the rock. Nice. Yeah, I would say not a lot of new tech this year as compared to last year. When we came into the tournament last year, I believe both Diver Down, Harapot, and Icebreaker were all new as of last year. And the only real new glitch that I can think of that has a large impact here, I guess there's a couple. Recently, or not particularly recently, but somewhat recently discovered is the ability to dash back into Pyramid Fairy if you get spit out there. There's also being able to escape from the Hammer Pigs area using a sort of hookshot clip that is allowed. It was a recent discovery for a bunch of us wall kicks. It might have been known by a lot of people. But the most important one, of course, is the Armo Shake Store, which has a somewhat limited utility of letting you skip the boots to get the item under Lumberjack. So in those scenes where a player is boots for go mode, they can use the Armo Shake Store to go in and bonk the tree instead by effectively storing killing Armos in the middle of a shake and leaving. Or as some people might call an ass seed. The name of it being, of course, the most important part of the entire glitch.
Yes, of course.
So when all tournament you see all the runners begging for ass seeds, you will now know what in fact they mean. I was watching one seed that Zelda is playing. And he was literally in go mode, climbing Agate Tower at 7 crystals with no boots. Ready to do it. And the boots showed up in the last chest in Agate Tower.
Aww.
And I don't think I've ever been more mad. I'm pretty sure there were like 30 or 40 of us watching by the end of it because it just sort of like was spreading like, guys, there's an ass seed! There's an ass seed! And unfortunately, no, the game sucks and we hate it.
Well, no, it baits you. It gets you to come back. Leaves you wanting more, so people will watch the entire tournament just for the opportunity to maybe see an ass seed. Okay, I now have a co-commentator on my desk in front of my screen.
I have a feeling my dog would enjoy playing with your co-commentator. My dog enjoys playing with anyone and anything, especially other animals.
Okay, he actually wanted to be picked up. I now have him in my arms, and he is purring directly at the microphone.
I mean, it's a cat, so I'm pretty sure her co-commentator is in fact showing the ass. That's pretty much what cats do. Beer, we're having little issues with the tracker. We'll try to get it ironed out, but it probably isn't going to happen in the time frame of this race. And you can, as always, direct all complaints to this guy right here.
Goodbye, cat.
But we can tell you that both runners have the Eastern, Meyer, and Turtle Rock big keys here. Despite what the tracker might be telling you. And jkoper does have the Tower of Hera big key, which he used to get Ether, which locked the Ice Rod. So, yeah, let's hope that Nochi can pick up that Tower of Hera big key before he finds Tower of Hera with a hook shot. And yeah, in coherent calling this out, the technique that jkoper showed there is actually pretty, and speaking of pretty important, there's Ganon's Tower. Not that we have really any of the tools to do much in it, but that fake flipper from Catfish to Dark Shopping Mall is a really nice fake flipper to be able to do. As jkoper kind of has to ponder going in and out there. Likely is going to want to wait for a bow if he can, but that's a kind of annoying place. And I do agree with Wall Kicks that I'm a little concerned about Hera Basement too. Runners are starting to run out of things at this point.
He's taking the dip. He's taking that dive.
Yo.
Which, I mean, if he's trying to work through it in his head, dipping Eastern or considering that possibility of going back for Hera Basement, I'm sure he wants to do what's right in front of him at the moment.
And also doesn't want to do Hera Basement.
Exactly. He wants any excuse to hopefully get what he needs anywhere but Hera Basement.
Nochi meanwhile is making a beeline for the pyramid, it looks like. Taking the mirror and the cape there. He's going to be able to check the 3 entrances on top. Oh yeah, I have no problem with him waiting to check the next door before actually going in for the Eastern Dip. I think that actually makes a lot of sense to be a little more restrained there. I'm saying we will see 1 extra in-logic check in Eastern Palace here. So we are seeing both runners get to cover some new ground. The other runner, I don't believe jkoper has been here yet. And doesn't have the cape yet either, and so can't even get into that castle tower entrance.
Well, there's our
That's
back
a
Skull
little
Woods.
bit of an important one. There is our 13 key locked Mothula location. Eastern Big Chest is not the concern here. Nochi. Our 14 key locked Mothula. That'd be the name of my death metal band. And related news, I am very white. You do see what my death metal band would sound like. Also, I love musical theater, so, you know. Nochi right now looking to grab the second boss kill for him and tie it up on the board. Is likely going to be just trying to burn Mothula down here, missing just about any weapon that can do damage to this boss quickly. No Master Sword, no Tempered Sword, no Hammer. So everything is going to be 1 of 8.
Yes, and doing fighting Mothula with the Fire Rod is a bit easier with that half magic on hand.
Yep, makes it a lot easier.
And down goes the moth to get
and
flippers.
14 key lock flippers.
Oh my goodness. I love this seed. Honestly, I love this seed.
I mean, to be fair, like, that does say a lot about what might be behind the flippers. Because the truth is, that's pretty deeply locked in this seed.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, gonna feel pretty good about picking that up. And as Toffel just noted in chat, yes, GT is flippers locked in that seed. So everything in Ganon's tower is locked by 14 small keys. Or 14 keys.
And Uncle
right.
is 19 key locked? Oh.
And notable, jkoper was able to pick up his cape before he came to the pyramid. And so is not going to miss orphaning the Skull Woods and the flippers here. I suspect all 14 keys are just sitting in Hera Basement, personally. Just seems reasonable.
And we have a raid to our own channel this time.
Wait a minute, that's not where you're supposed to raid. supposed to be Nochi's channel. Jkoper is now heading to pick up his flippers and to regain the edge in the crystal and boss count. Yeah, I gotta say, ice would be looking pretty suspicious to anyone who didn't already know that ice is garbage.
Very true.
But don't worry, if you think ice is garbage, here on Earth you will not have to worry about that for all that much longer. Oof.jpg. As Nochi is going to get his life lesson from Zora here.
And as nice as that map to desert is, we already have the knowledge.
You know, you may hope for that AA. I always hope against that because all of those seeds are terrible. Any seed where it's just, do you pick the right 50-50 jump down is a terrible seed. Full stop. Just bad. I think this is, he's taking the Super Bunny play? Yeah, this is Super Bunny connector. So you say it's not 50-50, but you could make the case in this seed that you should have gone into Spiral Cave Drop because you had a connector to the other one in Co. jkoper lining up the fake flipper here that he does not need because he has the real flippers. Or livening up the safe zero strat, and is going to head towards the Ice Palace Island. To see what's on Lake Hylia other than a fortress guarded by 14 small keys. Ah, a 15th small key. The one spoken of in legends. And this is not great for Nochi here, because he's sitting in the mire area, which is a useful area, and he's going to pick up his Swamp Small here too, but is not going to be able to get his Ether as well. Now, that may not matter if Turtle Rock ends up being a pendant, and we have 5 unknowns, 2 of which are pendants at this point. But if that ends up being a crystal, like, he is going to have to come back. I mean, he's going to have to come back anyway to point. And luckily for him, he doesn't have the hook shot here. Ether isn't Hera, but he can't get there with no hook shot or with no Tower of Hera big key is the problem. Which is at Stumpy and therefore not accessible from the Misery Mire area. But I suspect we will see the Hera basement here.
And as we can see on Nochi's side, the crystal knowledge is complete. So Turtle Rock is a pendant.
Alright, well that's, I guess, nice for him that there wasn't actually anything in Hype Cave he needed. I mean, he's going to come back and get the Ether anyway, so you have to assume he's going to go there.
Yeah, that's likely.
Power of her big key. But if he happens to find the hook shot here and finish out the dungeon, he probably won't get burned by it then. And yeah, we're sort of making light of this, but this actually is a very, very important check for Nochi's chances of winning the seed. Because this has to be jkoper's last spot he's going to go. And it's the boots!
Woo! Okay. Okay, this is exciting.
Well, that turns the race a little bit on its head now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say that Nochi's in the lead, because there's always a chance that jkoper gets forced back here somewhat quickly. But that's a pretty good way to equalize, and there's a decent chance those boots are required.
Yep. Can't
So,
forget that small key on Lumberjack Ledge. I have that in my mind every moment of this race.
Yeah, although that seems pretty unlikely at this point. I think all of the, like, really bad small keys, I guess other than Desert, which, well, let me tell you, scumming the Desert key when there's a small key jack in your Desert key is very, very brave.
Yes.
But other than Desert, not a lot of small keys with value left. Nope, he kept his Desert Small after using it. Which I remember surprised me when it happened. So I do think it will be a while before jkoper heads back to... I mean, it definitely feels like that's last location. Hera basement in a very, very bad spot is not really one of those places that you actively revisit quickly.
No, certainly not. It's it'll be pulling teeth to get him back there.
jkoper opting to not follow Super Bunny Cave just yet. I assume he's just going to check this ferry connector, see that it's desert, and... Oh, he's actually going to keep going, okay. I would have actually expected him to go back and say, I'm going to go through Super Bunny at this point. But yes, those boots are locked by an army of 14 small keys as well.
Wait, did we decide it was 14 small keys or 15?
I think it was 13 small keys and a big key, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Because it was locked. Because there was a pod small key behind the Tower of Hera big key. Oh no, they're not locked behind the flippers. Never mind. It's the flippers that are locked by the 14 key army.
Ah, yes.
As popularized in the sequel to the White Stripes song. She is heading to Dark Shopping Mall now, which is going to be kind of nice for him. He's going to get to unorphan a couple spots. And manage to also find his GT, which he does have the boots for if there's anything on the torch. I don't think jkoper checked the torch. I think he just left after Hope Room.
I just have stuck in my head now the image of Link running around with one of those, like, janitorial, gigantic, like, ring of keys.
Oh, see, I have this image of a bunch of keys walking around with, like, spears and, like, pitchforks and stuff. Interesting.
There's our bow. Whoa.
That's a completable Eastern Palace, and it's right here.
Yep. And we are just going straight in there. Okay, so this is a play. This is, still in the game. We are still in the game here on Nochi's side.
It has to feel like maybe there's a hookshot somewhere that gets you into Mire and gives you an army of small keys there. Or the other bow could be out there for the hookshot behind it. It doesn't feel like there's that much left. I'm not sure exactly what connector. Oh, this is the Twins connector. Okay, so this is going to spit out on Dark Death Mountain. And because of the way jkoper routed this, he kind of orphaned this spot, but that's not it. He's running pretty low. We'll see if he makes that Hera revisit before he decides to dive into Ice Palace. But he's kind of looking like he doesn't know what's an option anymore. This is the way to Ice Palace. This is also the way to the Mire area, though, if you want to go through Desert. See which one he's going for. Yep, this is the ice play. And we are about to see the scoreboard tied up again on crystals and bosses.
And getting set up for a nice quick kill here of our Armos Knights. Mitts. Oh!
Yeah, this still isn't in logic.
Nothing's in logic. Logic isn't real.
Logic can't hurt you. Oh, but logic can hurt you, and it will hurt you.
Yeah, that Hera basement is going to be haunting jkoper for a while yet.
And here comes the visit to this and Ice Palace.
Mm-hmm.
And that is all 4 GT keys there for Nochi. Fire Rod is not logical access to Armos in Entrance Rando. Entrance Rando has its own kind of fork of the logic and does some interesting things. Also, as Cyberchow pointed out, the Fire Rod wasn't a Dark Rod. Like, the Fire Rod is not in logic yet.
So an hour and a half in, and no lamp to be seen for quite a lot of this seed to be in logic.
Yeah, but we're gonna see Nochi follow those mitts. Doesn't seem overly concerned with the fact that logic is MIA. We'll see where he heads now. I don't have it marked on my map. Do you remember where the smiths are?
Oh, I do not know, but we do have a handy tracker of ours who probably does know that piece of information, who is more attentive than I.
I'm gonna stare into my monitor and go, Jinxie, 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 like Bloody Mary, and see if I can summon her. Damn, and here I thought it would work.
No.
Also notable, right side of GT isn't or right side of Ice is hookshot here. So that can't be the answer. We want to know where Smith is, Jinxie.
Pretty please. Oh, there you go. Thank you.
Misery Mire Cave? Oh, Mini Moldorm Cave. I'm like, Misery Mire Cave? What? That can't be a Dark World.
Yes.
Shadow, am I ever okay? I don't think I've been okay since Andy had the stream where I had to read out all of his subs and people kept gifting subs to him so that I couldn't stop. That was an adventure.
That's it. It's time for Alizenbot.
Beep, bop, bop, beep. I'm not a real person, I'm just a tournament administrator robot. To be honest.
Oh, and now we get our nice long dig game.
Alright, so jkoper is confused here, but there is actually information in his screen right now that should tell him exactly what's still available. Which is, he has a Hera small key. We'll see if he figures it out here. He still has has plenty of advantages and can go into the right position, but he needs to figure out what he's missing. I don't think this is the answer here. This is Castle Tower, but I don't think he has a key to it, which is out of logic though. So we're gonna get a good exhibition here of just how good jkoper's disaster recovery scenario is. And speaking of disaster recovery, Nochibato is trying to kill this poor blacksmith that's following him, luring him into a dungeon and covering him with a wall of bricks, all with the promises of Amontillado. Right, here on Zelda Speedruns, you only get the freshest, hippest literature references.
Smith in Misery Mire. Smith was in Misery Mire Cave.
I think this is... Did we see the other end of Hookshot Cave? I don't actually remember seeing it. But that is an option here. As we welcome...
ZSR2!
ZSR2. And I think that Nochi must have also been confused by Jinxie telling us that it was an MM Cave, which is why the dwarf must be in Misery Mire, right?
Exactly.
Okay, this, I think, is the play that jkoper needs to make. I believe... No, I think left side is floating island, right?
Yep.
Yep. Nope, not the play.
No.
Oh, true, yeah, we haven't seen him go through Spec Rock. Good point in I mean, this may be the logical play anyway. I mean, maybe... For all we know, maybe jkoper knows that he didn't do Hera Basement, but is simply waiting on 6 small keys in the lamp because he doesn't want to do it. But I do suspect, yes, this is likely to go to the Total Rock Ledge, which will probably give a mini Moldorm similarly stacked set of items that will unlock stuff. Perhaps a hookshot even. Or a sick kid.
A sickly child.
Ah,
There's our
the
lab! Wow. An hour and 30... That is a pondering face. What to do with this information.
Does it put Hera basement? Wasn't the Hera small key behind 6 pod smalls?
It is far too late for me to try to do this kind of math.
Would say that these boots seem required, yes. As Nochi is now heading to Misery Mire Cave to turn in his smith. I'm not even teasing you, Jinxie, I just legitimately thought it was funny. Yeah, so we do have a logical double dip of Pendant Thieves Town, of the back of Pendant Thieves Town here. Since the big key locks the mirror, which locks the lamp, which locks the Thieves Town small, which locks the Swamp Palace small. Okay, I think this is the play that jkoper needs to be making. I jinxed him once before, but never again, right? Right? jkoper? Oh!
He's turning
He heard
around!
me! He heard me! All the way from California, he heard me!
I'm doing magic fingers at the screen.
I do have a very powerful booming voice.
Ah, there we go. There you go, buddy.
So now... jkoper still has his advantages.
Yes, he does. He certainly does. It's,
But they've shrunk down pretty hard, and Nochi still needs to get to, Stumpy to get his Tower of Hera big key. But wants to go through Hookshot Cave first, with his brand new Hookshot, which makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah, you're not
Yeah,
turning up
Wombat.
this opportunity.
Commentary shouldn't be interfering in the race. I'll make sure to report it to the tournament admins.
Hey, Allison.
No, he doesn't know. And
Hammer.
there is the big prize.
Okay, this is a spicy match now.
This, I was saying, now he has to think about what these boots actually unlock even. Because there's a few things, but they don't actually lock a ton of things. And yeah, I mean, this is a really good example of pointing out that, like, while yes, you may not care necessarily about whether in logic or not, paying attention to logic can be really, really impactful here. Because being able to track this logic, being able to track the pod small keys, like I said, it is entirely possible that that small key that we saw is just pod small number 6. And so now everything might just be in logic. Yeah, jkoper doesn't need to beeline GT, but he does need to head to Mire, and this is probably not the first place I check with boots, but I don't think he can hover. I'm pretty sure jkoper can't hover.
Is he thinking about hovering? No, can't. Can't, won't. Don't do it.
Meanwhile, for his part, Nochi's looking for the Cane of Samaria. He's looking for the Podbig. He's looking for the Harabig, which we know is at Stumpy, and he's looking for both Desert Keys. And yes, Nochi has not found Swamp Big. Plus, he doesn't have the GT Big, but Nochi does have 4 small keys to GT. At least on his personal tracker. Our tracker has him at 3. I'm not sure which one's right. But yeah, if that's a Desert Small at Lumberjack, that's going to be a little rough for Nochi, and probably going to be a last location. Well, we'll see. If he's purely Desert Small for Go mode, it's probably not going to be a last location, but it very easily could be. And Nochi looking like he's going to be setting up for a diver down here. Going to be clearing out 9 of 10 items in the Swamp Palace while he's here. Gets it pretty cleanly.
Yeah, that's a nice
and
bomb
pops
setup.
the pigs up. Nice little time save on the left side. A little more impactful in the back, but still a nice tool to have under any runner's belt. I also don't think we've seen anything that was actually required the myths yet. Am I correct? We need 2 big keys total. Nochi needs 3 because he doesn't have Hera. jkoper and Nochi both need Pod, and they both need Desert. So we'll see if this is the answer, but... Oh, that is true. He doesn't. He probably doesn't need Hera because of Hera Pot, but in doing so, we'll miss Hype Cave, which means he misses his Ice Rod, but that only locks Pendant Tracks.
Which, from the looks of the way that this seed is shaping up, probably isn't going to be required.
So here comes the bow for jkoper. I mean, it looks like the real big play with the boots is going to be Meyer, but the bow is going to be helpful. Meanwhile, Swamp has not been particularly exciting. So.
No, nothing really of note yet. Here we go. Big key to ice. Ooh.
Wow, 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 wow. Which
Nochibato
Nochibato gets to look into the camera. That one.
There are certainly some choice words in that look. And it's
Meyer
directed
not
entirely at the seed roller.
Meyer is in Kakariko Village, Tim. Or Inko. See, how dare you argue with Jinxie Girl? Don't you know who she is? He is the Lord Supreme of all tracking. I mean, this race hasn't broken my brain. I don't know what you're talking about. Gonna find his myths here. Oh, this swamp has been pretty disappointing. I mean, GT looks like it has a pretty good chance of being the answer here. Sorry, I don't mean to have distracting conversation during such an exciting boss.
Yes.
Please don't do menu Argus unless you're actually swordless people. I'm begging you. It's faster to spin. Yeah, and while the Turtle Rock small key situation is... I mean, like, I'm not surprised to not see these flippers pay off massive swamp pay off massive dividends. Like, I think that Hyrule Castle key didn't actually give anything. So it's not really shocking to see nothing behind the flippers, given how deep they are.
And so we are now tied 3 and 3 crystals again.
And here we go up both side of pod. And, well, if you want to see an eye roll, let's see what happens when, if/when Nochi finds this swamp small, or swamp big. I think jkoper is just going to be heading to Meyer here. Don't think he has anything else. No? Oh, okay, this is apparently a Meyer route. Just probably would have just gone from Sanctuary. Unless he's going for Smiths here? Yeah, that seems to be what he's doing, okay.
Yeah, turns out he is.
Which I guess makes sense, like, this is actually in logic. For him. That's a little bold there from Nochi, so he's not gonna find... Okay, Nochi head the hobo here.
Might as well take a peek.
Yes, flippers are always behind 4 small keys in the seed. This is sort of the difference between conditional logic versus non-conditional logic. Is that Skullwood small key that we found is always locked behind 4 small keys in entrance. Of course, at this point we're kind of getting down to some minutia that you probably don't need to worry about unless you're actively playing in the tournament. And even then, probably if you're actively playing at a high level in the tournament. But it's still fun to speculate.
jkoper picking up his purple chest now.
Not quite sure where Nochi's heading. Oh, I thought he... Oh, no, he hasn't stopped yet. Okay, so he'll actually get his ether. Because he's going to get the Hera big key here before he heads back to Hera. So at this point it feels like Nochi is definitely ahead in terms of progression. jkoper may still be ahead in terms of raw number of checks, though.
And there is our Master Sword.
Which is probably not load-bearing, although theoretically could be. Like, this could be Desert Big Key here with the last 2 swords, Desert, or something dumb like that. But more likely that it's just this crap.
Bit of chump change.
Is it late enough yet that I can welcome everybody to Rando After Dark? We're basically there. Alright, we're gonna see, Oh, we're not gonna see Castle Tower Chest number 2. Gonna see going through Hookshot Cave here? Oh, I think this might be his play to get to Mire. So I think he's gonna do this to go through Desert. An incoherent drop in the Knowledge Bomb that is in fact not a Sphere 1. Which is actually correct. Okay, he's gonna go through Hyrule Castle. Whatever. Same difference. Please go down. Don't make me feel bad about people. Okay, he's going... Yes, he did it! Yeah, the logic here is definitely towards going to Mire. jkoper's gonna need to make that play to make up some of the ground. Nochi needing to head to Hera. I will note, though, jkoper is a Master Sword now. He can logically get to phase 3 of Ganon and fall down. I mean, he has the mirror, too, so the mirror also obviates that possibility. But one day, I will see a seed where, for some reason, that's... It may need to be a Plando, but we will get there. And Nochi, with having both the boots and hookshot, gets to just bonk off that chest and enjoy the rest of his Hera. And open Misery Mire in the process. I don't know about you, but doing that is probably the most tilted I ever feel in the game. When I miss that dash and get sucked into the pit. I feel so dumb every time I do that. Alright, is this the Mire play from jkoper? Because I'm pretty sure it would be faster for him to start at Sanctuary than it is to do this. But this does look like the Mire play. Just gonna yield the hook shot.
Now these hammer strats are a little tough depending on how Moldorm cooperates with you.
Yep, but on the road to recovery here for... jkoper, as he's going to be able to find his hook shot in here. jkoper opting to skip out on the left-hand side for now. Meanwhile, Nochi going to open Mire and find his Hype Cape. So I think for all intents and purposes, I think all of the advantages that jkoper had other than the Master Sword are gone. He may still have a check advantage. I'm not sure because he's going to be down just sort of like a raw number of checks at this point. From not having done some of these dungeons. But he's going to have to scramble a little bit to catch up on some of these bosses. He does have the advantage he hasn't done the right side of Desert, which means he does not need that Desert small key for. All being even, I think we have absolutely no idea who's in the lead.
It's been a very interesting seed in that sense. It was very one-sided early on, and it is now very close. We can't quite tell at all who is going to come out on top of this one.
Yep. Looks like Nochi's going to make the GT play here, which I think is a pretty reasonable play. And I suspect will likely pay out to a pretty good degree. I would suspect we'll see at least one sword here. We'll probably see at least one of the big keys that's missing. I'd say there's an outside chance we actually hit go mode here for Nochi.
It's just that small key that we're still hunting for Nochi. That's the big difference.
Skip it. Oh, he skipped cutscene chest, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which I don't think was anything. Jkoper about to get his hammer.
There we go. There's our desert.
That's gotta feel good for Nochi.
Yep. Small key to ice.
So we're looking for desert big key and pod big key for both. The Cane of Samaria for both. And a sword for Nochi. Both runners have the Myra key, but they don't have Cane. Nochi gonna hope that he finds something in GT that's actually hard recorded. Which I would say feels very likely.
A little shield upgrade there for Nochi.
Meanwhile, jkoper kind of focusing on the one-offs here rather than larger clusters of items. I mean, might feel behind after both the boots and the hookshot basically being dead last locations for him, and so is probably going to be trying to make up some time, as that is the GT big key. And there's the Cane of Samaria. Okay. Meanwhile, jkoper dies in Spike Cave. So this does give Nochi the opportunity to beat Meyer and also beat Turtle Rock if he would like, although Turtle Rock's perhaps a little less enticing. Although is actually a cluster of items, a very good cluster of items, because we haven't seen Laser Bridge yet either. I don't think we've gotten any of the items out of the front yet. So we should be, what, 8 of 12 or 4 of 12 in Turtle Rocks? There will be 8 items left. I think I'm counting right. Lynn screaming at Nochi for releasing the goal too early, I assume. We'll see. I'm very bad at telling what Lynn is screaming about, because usually it's at me. Okay, that makes... I mean, he might be planning on just running up and grabbing... No, I mean, there's really... Skip GT Big Chest.
And happy over 2 hours.
Let's see, is the mirror coming out? Okay, so he knows. He knows he didn't do the big chest, so he's not leaving it. Okay. Alright, so a sword and desert big for Mochi at this point.
Yep.
Nochi, not Mochi. Did he get the desert big key and I missed it?
He got the pod big and he got GT big. While
Sorry,
he
AA was so confidently saying, "Oh, you need the desert." Okay, there's another sword. So, if Nochi ends up doing purple chest, that's actually a pretty good spot for Mini Moldorm Cave, because that'll be a part of the purple chest check. Is doing all of this stuff.
Time to do our dance around tall room.
I am of the opinion right here that it is definitely too early to climb. Until we got the bounty of items there, I would have. But until then, no. I'm just gonna grab this magic refill here and go on to do the compass room in GT, and all that will be left here is the climb. jkoper, meanwhile, also making the GT play. Notably has not been to Swamp still, in spite of his ability to.
There's our desert big.
That's gonna be big. That's gonna be go mode for jkoper when he finds this.
Yep.
So this all of a sudden got real interesting. So Nochi's either gonna need to find the fourth sword or visit Kakariko.
It looks like jkoper is going to be in go mode first, just from what he's going to gather here.
It's gonna depend.
Yeah, it depends entirely on where the last sword location is, and if Nochi is going to grab any of the 3 remaining swords.
Yeah, at this point, Nochi is sitting on a timer basically. He has, I would say, even with the sword disadvantage that he's going to have, if Nochi finds just the one sword in his natural course of clearing out his dungeons, he's going to be ahead. Even having to do Master Sword Silverless versus, in that case, what would probably be Butter Sword Silverless for jkoper. However, if he needs to make that play to Vu, might take a little while. We'll see. We'll also see if jkoper is going to get anxious here and bail early on GT, which is possible. Like, he's going to have the cane, he's going to have the pod big key, and he's just going to be looking for desert. Alk, we've found all the big keys. The display is just not working with the big keys for some reason on the tracker.
Yeah, all big keys have been found. Nochi is the only one that has all big keys. jkoper is still missing 3 of his big keys.
He's gonna join pretty soon.
Yeah.
Because pod is right here, and the other 2 are...
Get those ice armos out of the way.
you're right. I spell Spike is in Swamp Wall Kicks. Thank you. Mochi being a little sensitive to his arrow count. But no, jkoper is making the play that's going to end up being the right one and going back in. And he's going to hit go mode pretty quickly here. Nochi has cleared out Misery Mire but did not beat Vitreous. And we'll see how confident he is in the dark rooms here. I want to switch to the Fire Rod here. Yep. It's the Torchlight, which is all you really need. And get some nice refills here. jkoper is about to hit go mode right now.
Here we go.
And knows it and is just heading. He's going to be heading straight for his dungeon bonanza. So we've got. Here's a thing that might be nice for Nochi, which is the last two dungeons that he has to do are both going to be sitting there in CAC. Which means if he decides to say, I'm going to take those 7 crystals, and I'm just sitting here, I may as well go into Vu and he'll hit go mode pretty quickly there. But is likely going to be on Master Sword Lampless here, since I suspect he will not continue checking after his Master Sword. And I don't see a road where he picks up his lamp either. But is pretty flush safety-wise. Anyway, here comes... Gee, I also believe... Was Fat Fairy in CAC as well? Or was it somewhere else? Because Nochi could really benefit from being able to buy arrows at this point. So Nochi making the smart play here, saving Mire for last. jkoper is going to be gaining ground here somewhat aggressively. Like, just from his better equipment here. But both of them are likely just going to be boss rushing for the next 4 or 5 minutes or so.
Yes, most definitely. They'll be trying to get their way through these bosses as fast as possible, and the downfall is that Nochi is still hunting. So there will be chest checks, there will be locations checked along his way. Yep. Until he either finds that sword or he's going to end up hunting beyond his completion of his...
But if he does go to Vu post Mire, since he's literally right there, I think his very first check is going to yield a minimal sword. Now, the other problem is there's one other option, which is Turtle Rock Right is not a Vu. Turtle Rock Right is sitting in a CAC. Oh, Nochi, no! What you doing?
Just checking.
Yeah, but he's right where Misery Mire is.
Yeah.
We'll see here if Nochi can pull us sword number 4 from Laser Bridge, which, to be fair, there aren't a lot of high value spots left in the game. Could be there. Unfortunately, this clock is starting to tick pretty aggressively here. His dungeon lead right now is at half of Swamp and the back of Desert, which, to be fair, the back of Desert is actually a surprisingly long dungeon. I mean, to be fair, JD, like, Vidi is probably the most difficult boss fight in the game that could be germane too? Uh-oh. That might actually be really bad. Okay. Well, there's GT.
Might as well get that staircase down.
Unfortunately for him, he needs to make the Mire play, like, right now. So Tempered Silverless is faster than MS with Silvers, but it's not faster by very much. I can't imagine a scenario where jkoper gets Silvers. Unfortunately, at this point, Nochi just needs, like, if Nochi doesn't go straight to his, I mean, I'm not even sure he has time at this point, even if he has ghost stuff. But he's doing things that are not going straight to his stuff.
And there's jkoper picking up his 5th crystal.
I gotta say, if he was planning on doing this, I would have liked to see him kill Trinex and use that for the free warp to the front instead of running through stuff. But I also think he's probably out of time now. Which is unfortunate, because he made a nice effort to close this race up. But unfortunately, just couldn't find the sword that he needed. Well, yeah, I mean, but you have to assume there's a decent chance that you get stuck in that position. Yep, not the bailout he needed.
Ah, but now we have a full set of boomerangs.
So who is the real winner?
Chat. Chat's always the real winner.
Let's... Don't think there's anywhere he can go from this that's gonna be transformative. you can see Nochi's starting to get a little bit frustrated. We'll see if it gets even worse if he doesn't make the play to Viddy and it's just... As to your question, I don't think there's a single great differences. But you could always check out the tournament server. There's gonna be there's gonna be plenty of people who are gonna understand this stuff and what you need to do to put stuff in logic or not put stuff in logic. These silvers are gonna end up being a really nice find on the but jkoper's Viddy there is relatively clean anyway. Don't mirror, don't mirror!
There we go. So that is 6 for jkoper. We are tied up with the number of crystals, and Nochi is...
for both.
Yep. Nochi's heading in to get his last crystal, but he's still hunting that sword.
That's not actually true, Rithran. Your timer on Viddy's cycle is still going to be the same. So even with Gold Sword Cape and Boots, you're not actually saving time compared to Silver Arrows or Tempered Sword. Silver speeds it up for Phase 2, obviously, because you only need 2 arrows, but... I mean, modulo lag and shit like that. And Nochi is through the dark. Yeah, I definitely agree. This ended up being a... And I suspect jkoper... Well... jkoper's gonna be the first to 7 crystal. But it's gonna be by 10 or 15 seconds. Nochi might actually be in go mode by the time jkoper might even be to the Ganon fight straight to where he needs. But as far as you can complain or say for first race, this has been just great.
This has been a phenomenal first seed for this tournament. It was long. It showed a lot of tricky logic that I'm sure will come up many times more in this tournament. And it ended up being a very close seed.
Let's see where Nochi goes from here. I don't think it's gonna... Assuming jkoper's Ganon is clean, I don't think it's going to make it. Honestly, even if jkoper's Ganon isn't clean, I'm not sure it's gonna make it. He probably has a fall of wiggle room here. So he is heading to Vu. That's the play he needs to make. And if that's the case, I think he is going to be in go mode before jkoper finishes. As jkoper gets... Oh, never mind.
He's going the wrong way.
Woods.
Oh well. But this was, again, it was phenomenal. It was, there were some big gaps between our runners throughout the race, and this ended so close. It was just a luck of the draw on getting those swords for jkoper.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately jkoper is going to probably take the win here just based off of having better efficiency in his play throughout the seed. But that hero basement skip definitely almost did him in. Because it was a pretty substantial lead before, and I think it really speaks to how big his lead was that it didn't do him in. See if Nochi actually knows. Okay, good. He does know that this is a forced small key in Skullwoods. So if I had a guess, I would say it's probably likely that jkoper intentionally skipped Herod Basement basically because it was still out of logic. Because he seemed to know where he could go when he looked like he was just mostly trying to stay in logic at that point.
Yeah, it got to the point where he was trying to figure out where to route when he was getting low on checks. He'd stopped for a moment and you could almost hear the gears going in his head of where am I supposed to be? What's in logic here? That'll open it up for me from this point on, and that's how he kind of recovered.
Yeah, and I agree with Tam to a degree that he got lucky in the sense that if it had just been like those boots only lock to Desert Big Key or something like that, the way this seed plays is very, very different.
And there is jkoper finishing up, and that is GG's in the chat.
Actually about to pick up his sword, I think, here too. So this is gonna be, he'll be done within probably 3 or 4 minutes of jkoper. Which, when you looked at the situation when Nochi got his Moon Pearl, is a pretty remarkable amount of closing.
Yeah, it was a big gap. There was a lot of time made up on Nochi's side, so I don't think he will be upset with how this seed turned out for him once he understands the ground that he covered.
And that is go mode for Nochi.
There we go.
And it looks like he's going to be heading to the Ganon fight to get his finish as well.
Yeah, this has been a phenomenal start to this tournament. I'm excited for all this to kick off. It is going to be a densely packed 8 weeks of tournament matches.
Yeah, we've got upwards of
672 matches in 8 weeks.
Yeah, we've got what, 70, 84 matches every week right now. And yeah, I agree. That was very, very good random intelligence. Knowing, hey, like, this is maybe going to be a little bit of a tricky fight, and after he picks up the... and yeah, obviously not all of these matches are stream, but if you would like to see them happen and would like to help out, we're always looking for more volunteers, for free streamers, for commentators, for trackers.
Feel free to join the Discord and get involved. Yes, the 672 is the magic number if nobody drops from the tournament throughout this Swiss round phase. But that's a huge number. That is gigantic, and even if there are any drops, it's still going to be non-stop cross keys. There will be matches upon matches that could very much use some volunteers to help us get as many as we possibly can restreamed.
Looks like Nochi is up to, oh, maybe not up to 12 hits. Would have liked to see him pull out the cape here a little bit to make this bit go faster, but he is up to the number he needs.
Hopefully, we get a nice clean walk across the bridge for the finish up here for Nochi. because it doesn't happen often, but it wouldn't be the first time I see somebody miss a bridge and fall.
Yeah, that's a bummer of a way to lose the race. But... No, she shoots the fourth and final shot into Ganon and is gonna finish the second one.
There we
About
go.
4.5 minutes back of jkoper.
That is not bad at all for how long this seed was and the gaps we had throughout. Welcome to the chat here, Nochi. How was that?
Aside from leaving the glove behind forever and the moon pearl behind it too, because for some reason I have a blind spot about going back into Sanctuary. It wasn't so bad until the sword hunt at the end.
Yes, it was a sword hunt. You made up so much time after getting that glove and getting that moon pearl. It was wild to watch this race.
It's gonna be fun to watch back, but I feel bad about where I left that moon pearl and the glove. But it's like I normally go there to that section kind of early, but I just wasn't feeling it today for some reason. And oops.
I think part of it too is the fact that you got spit out of the back of Old Man over there in the Eastern Palace area, so a lot of the value of walking in direction got taken from you.
Oh right, I forgot about that. So those two spots just got isolated so hard.
Yeah, because it seemed like a nice spot when you found it at first, and then we saw where the glove was, and then later this is actually a really bad spot for this to have been, because it became really, really easy to go in. You might be able to guess correctly that you were pretty substantially later to the Moon Pearl than jkoper was.
Oh yeah, that's like a 7-minute Moon Pearl if you do it right. I got it around an hour.
He was pretty late to the Moon Pearl too, it felt like. He got it probably about, 20 minutes before you, as opposed to the 45, 50 minutes it could have been.
Yeah.
But then you closed a lot of time there later on. So the thing that kind of defined this seed after that, I would say, is jkoper didn't do Hera Basement when he was there the first time.
Oh.
Yeah. That's where a lot of your recovery time came from, for sure.
That was the boots, right?
Yep. That was the boots, which locked the entire seed. Locked the hook shot, locked the hammer, locked the
bow,
Waria, locked the bow.
Oh,
and welcome, jkoper. GG's.
Hey, thanks. That was crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was one heck of a way to start this tournament.
Yeah, this is... We genuinely, were sitting there at the end not really knowing who was going to win that until maybe the last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Basically at the point where Nochi killed Lanmo and then opted, you know what, I need to go see better gear for Viddy / I haven't found Laser Bridge / I still need a Master Sword. It was pretty even, because he was up to 6 crystals while you were in Swamp, so you're sitting there at 4, I think, at that point. But you had the swords, and he was sitting on Fighter Sword. And so basically we're like, wow, this is kind of crazy close, and depending, if Nochi just walks into the 4th sword, he's probably ahead and probably going to win this. But unluckily for him, did not. The 3rd sword, by the way, was on purple chest, Nochi.
Awesome. I was going to do that. I was going to do that.
Because I was sitting there sort of looking, I'm like, well, Mire and Desert are right in CAC. There's a very good chance that he just says, you know what? I'm in CAC, I'm going to go up to Village of Outcasts and check it right here, and here's Mini Boulder. And there's your sword. But then I kind of looked, I'm like, uh-oh. Total Rock's right there, too. That's a really, really tempting play to go through as well. And ultimately the one that you ended up going with, which I think...
It gave me silver, so Viddy wasn't going to be nearly as bad as it... was going to be otherwise, so I was still happy, but it wasn't the sword I needed.
I think if you had mirrored after after Laser Bridge instead of spitting yourself out, and then gone up to Vu, it would have been really close. I think you would have been behind at that point, but I think it would have been like in the less than 30-second range.
Oh.
But yeah, so jkoper, I want to ask you about one choice you made in this seed, which you may be able to guess.
It was correct. The only mistake I made was forgetting about the Hyrule Castle main entrance. That cost me some time for sure, because that was a convenient connector up to Dark.
So my guess as to why you skipped it, and you correct me if I'm wrong, is that you were basically trying to watch the logic and realize, you know what, this fire rod's out of logic.
Yeah, like not only was it out of logic, it was like as far out of logic as it could possibly be, basically.
Oh, I mean, like especially if you look at the flippers, I think we were putting it together, and the flippers all in total were locked by something like 14 different keys in this seed.
Huh.
Because the flippers were sitting there on Mothula, which is locked by 3 Skull Woods keys. One of the Skull Woods keys was in the Rock Big Key chest, which is 4 more keys. Then the fire rod to get there was in the back of pod, so 6 more pod keys that way. And it needed the Hera Big Key to get the 6th pod key as well.
God.
I'm not sure I've ever seen an item that deeply locked before. And especially like how important those flippers ended up being logically in this too, because that was your bow, that was your cane, that was not your hammer, but that was a bunch of the big keys that you needed.
Yeah, when you put it that way, I probably chased the flippers a little too much there, and but yeah, I honestly did forget about the Spectacle Rock connector for a little bit too.
That was kind of my guess, because like as soon as you found the lamp, you knew you could go back to Hera at that point.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, oh, I forgot I can do Hera basement.
Right.
It seemed like you were more in a case of, oh, nothing's left in logic. What am I missing to put this together?
Right.
Since
exactly.
I guess obviously from your perspective, it could have been the boots, it could have been the hook shot, it could have been any of those items that pull it all together.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, if we end up skipping the lamp somehow, that would have been fine. But I mean, I could have skipped the lamp perfectly fine if I would have just done Hera Basement the first time I was there. This would have been a completely different seed for sure. But I didn't do that. So maybe next time I'll do it. Maybe I won't. I don't know. We'll see. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. But it got to a point watching you that I found really interesting, is that after a certain point when you were starting to get low on checks, you would stop, and you'd stop moving your character and you just kind of sit there and think for a minute to try to, like, you could hear the gears turning of where logically is left, not what's open to you, and that would lead you in the right direction. The next place you'd go is where you'd get that next step and that next hint.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully I wasn't sitting there too long, but...
No, it would just be a moment. You'd, like, stand in a doorway for a second, and you could just see... You could just hear yourself kind of thinking of, where is it that I'm supposed to go? And you'd be there for, like, a couple of seconds, and then you'd, quit out or something like that, because you'd figure it out, and the next place you'd be going was where you needed to be.
Yeah. Oh, there was... The next to last thing I did before I got the lamp, I was definitely stumped for a second there and wasn't sure what I should do next. But yeah, thankfully I came up with that connector, and the lamp is always nice to have, I guess. It was probably still close to saving time.
I'll say, Nochi, if you're wondering, by the way, the lamp was at the Mimic Cave entrance, which was through the drop down on Spectacle Rock, I believe. Is that correct, jkoper?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Right. I found Spectacle Rock and never actually marked it down. I didn't care at that point.
Oh, that's rough. You yeah, I can't stop caring about connectors when you still got that ledge left. That's for sure.
What ledge? Oh, that ledge. Yeah. I mean, I think I was, by the time I found it, I wasn't in need of a lot.
Yeah,
But,
I guess. I mean, it's a race, I suppose. So you can say I'm just not gonna worry about this, and if it's there or if that's something that I need, then so be it. But
I mean, I knew I had to go hard against you. You are
Yeah.
really good at these things.
yeah, there's sometimes things, but yeah, you made it a close race though, and it sounds like it was really interesting to watch. It sounds like we probably had very different runs. I don't know if we had some things we were doing similarly, or if we were diverging the whole time or whatever. I don't.
This was about as divergent of a race that ended up being close as I think I've ever watched.
Okay, fair enough.
You had a massive lead early, and then by the time you found your boots, I wasn't even sure who was in the lead anymore.
Yeah,
Because you had, I think, done more in terms of raw checks, which is why you ended up with the swords. I mean, which is why you ended up kind of having the swords. Wasn't that much left for you to do. But Nochi was way ahead progression-wise.
yeah.
So I think by the time you had your boots, Nochi had done Swamp. I think he was in GT, had his cane, had done Mire and gotten his hook shot. It was pretty extreme, just how much of the actual he needed was still there. But you were able to close pretty fast, and you had sword advantage. And yeah, this was wildly divergent. I think you'll both be really surprised when you go back and watch through this, just how different the routes you guys took were.
I mean, I know I don't route like most people, and a lot of times I know it costs me, but I route it in a way that I think is interesting to myself, usually. So, yeah, having fun is important. Yeah. No, when I got the mirror out of Thieves Town, felt pretty good about that. And then when I went back to Sahasrahla and turned in that green pen and got the Swamp Small, felt really good about that. And then I think that was about the end of the point where I felt good about the seed. Everything after that was just a mess for the most part.
For some clarity, Nochi had that mirror. I believe had the Swamp Small. No, he may not have had the Swamp, but he had the mirror certainly before he had the Moon Pearl.
Oh, before he had the Moon Pearl? Interesting.
Yeah.
He was really, really late to the Moon Pearl, and is kind of what defined the first 45-50% of the race.
Okay. I mean, once you got the glove, it was in the most obvious spot, pretty much. So
he dead last location the glove, and then he dead last location the Sank drop down, I think, after that.
Almost, but yeah.
It was really close to dead last location if it wasn't dead last.
I have a blind spot for that thing sometimes. I don't know why.
You had opened up a large lead when it came to that.
There are some weird things that can be really easy to forget in Crosskeys sometimes. Like, I got this glove and I can do the Sank drop down, which is, maybe the most obvious thing in open mode or whatever, but sometimes it just doesn't come right to mind. Just like me, I have a blind spot for the Hyrule Castle main entrance sometimes, especially if Ganon is there.
Yeah, that was a brave decision there.
No, I'll do it every time. I have no regrets. But yeah, no, I don't regret going in there. I just regret not going back to the entrance at some point, especially after I got the mirror. I should have gone back, but
my biggest regret on the seed was going into ice. I knew that fire rod was out of logic. I only had fighter sword. I didn't have anything to fight those pen gators with. I shouldn't have done it, and it took me a while to get down there.
I was struggling a little bit to find words for that decision that weren't just "this is the wrong decision," but
no, it was the wrong decision, and I realized it as I was doing it. But it's like, maybe this is so deep. Maybe Koper won't follow this because it's deep in the logic. So if there's something here, I'll get an advantage, and it was stupid.
So, it was definitely a high risk, high reward decision. But sorry, go Jay. Koper.
Yeah, I did it, but and I was like, man, should I really be doing this? Fire Out is way out of logic. And then I was like, well, I also have Bombos. Where did that come from? I don't know. It seemed like there's at least some chance that's in logic. So
That was in Hera.
yeah, that sounds like it's in logic. So.
You got Bombos and Ether back to back. You got Bombos in the Hera map chest, and then you got Ether in the Hera Big Key chest. Because we didn't know, we were worried about Nochi when he found the hookshot because he didn't have the Hera Big Key. Before we knew that Turtle Rock was a pendant, we were worried that he was going to miss that Ice Rock by extension, which obviously ended up not mattering at all. But it was a very, very spooky moment, I think.
Huh. My one other regret is that I missed that Hera bomb jump by a pixel, and I was like, as I was doing, I was like, this isn't gonna work, is it? And I regret all the way to the bottom floor. But yeah. But whatever, things happen. You can fret over every little execution thing. Just try to minimize them, I guess.
Yes, for sure. So you guys still get to continue racing for another 7 weeks. This is going to be fun.
I'll say interesting. I'm not so sure about fun. Because when I found that glove in Moon Pearl, I was just, I knew I was behind and I had to, I never felt good about this seed after that. At the 2 hour mark, I'm just like, Koper's going to finish in like 2 seconds now.
Yeah.
And I could hear my blood pulsing in my ears. It's like, oh god.
Do you know when you got your boots though?
Oh, I got them I think I got them a little after an hour.
Okay. Yeah, mine were 1:38. Something.
I'll say, let me. I'm actually gonna look it up because it was interesting. Okay.
I got a kick out of my credits. First sword, 2 minutes 47. Second sword would have been something like 2 hours and 22 minutes.
Okay,
Wow.
so he had the boots at about the 124 mark.
Oh, later than I thought.
jkoper, you got the boots at about 18-19 minutes after that at 142.
Oh, so that could have been worse, I guess.
It was only as close as it was to because of how late Nochi was to the Moon Pearl.
Yeah.
Because like he was not slow about getting there once he had the ability, but it could have been really bad, and I definitely know the feeling of I pull up the race room at 125 because oh my god, waiting for my opponent to finish. And then it gets longer and longer, like, okay, there's no way my opponent is about to finish, I'm so dead. And it's not the most fun way to play a seed.
No.
But I mean, either way, this was a phenomenal kickoff for the tournament. Hard to ask for a more back and forth race.
I'm glad it was close. I was kind of afraid it wasn't going to be entertaining, and so I'm glad that it was as fun as it was for you guys.
Oh, it really was. It really was. And it's just like that was the perfect seed to kind of set up everybody for what to expect in this tournament.
Yeah, we got a few months left of racing in this tournament, and I hope everyone's really looking forward to it. And we can always use more help too. I'm sure. I don't know if we've tweeted for more commentators or trackers, but if anyone's interested,
we gave a couple shout outs during the race for sure.
Oh yes.
But if you are interested, feel free to join the tournament Discord, and it would be super helpful for everyone if we can put on more of these races, because I think these are really entertaining shows.
Yeah. If you ever ask why isn't this race getting a restream, well, you could be part of the solution if you want. So
that's how I got sucked in last year. I was watching one race and they made a comment that the next race on the schedule was probably not going to get a restream because they didn't have volunteers signed up for it. And I said, I've never volunteered for any of this stuff before, but I'll give you a hand if you need me.
And you were definitely one of our MVPs last year, so glad to have you back.
Unquestionably.
I only joined, I think it was winter bracket round 3 or round 4 is when I joined last year. And
Yeah, but then you were in like literally every single.
I don't leave my house, so this is, this is what I live for.
All right, ready to wrap up?
Yeah. Anyway,
I just want to say thank you to Allison, Blibberl, and Ricky for putting this on. I didn't think we were going to get a restream because it was like 8 hours notice. But thank you, and I hope to, put on a good show for the people who are going to watch this later if I get restreamed again.
And also Wallkicks and Jinxie, who tracked behind the scenes, which is phenomenally useful.
yeah.
I can't see their names, so thank you.
Yep. And X Lives, just for the future, since this was asked if this ends up on YouTube, if it's anything like last year, there will be a playlist that will go up where all the matches end up on YouTube.
Yeah, it will be up on YouTube in about 3 days.
I also want to apologize about my stream alerts. I haven't been affiliate for so long. I screwed up.
Okay, so
responsibility for that.
That was the most entertaining part of the first 40 minutes of the race for me, so I don't want you to...
We kept thanking your subscribers on stream.
It's all good.
Yeah, I have to echo Nochibato, of course. Thank you guys for stepping up. Thanks, Allison, for taking the initiative and trying to get this restreamed, and for all of the other people for helping out on relatively short notice. I'm sure everyone's been excited. I mean, it's been so long since we had a Link to the Past Rando tournament.
I know, it feels like
days.
It feels like a day almost.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, you know what? I had a 2-year streak going of calming the first match in the tournament, and I wasn't going to let no qualifiers break that streak.
Nice. All right.
Thanks so much, you guys.
Thank you. And
Thank you guys.
And with that, we're going to wrap this up. Coming up tomorrow on ZSR at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, we have a Wind Waker Randomizer Season 4 Challenge Cup match between Montgoal and Advocate at the 2 p.m. Eastern. At 6 p.m. Eastern, we have a Link to the Past Randomizer Crosskeys tournament match between Tam and Magnet Hands. So watch out for that. That sounds pretty hype.
That one's going to be a banger.
Yes. At 8 p.m. Wednesday Eastern Time, we have another Challenge Cup Wind Waker match between Ryrek and Sir Casey, and a Link to the Past Randomizer Challenge Cup match, quarterfinals, game 2, between Maya Neko and Font. So lots of hype matches on their schedule for Wednesday. Hope you find something you want to watch. As everyone else already said, thank you to our volunteers, and thank you to our runners, jkoper and Nochibato, for putting on the fantastic show. And thank you everyone so much for watching. Hope you all have a fantastic night.